Hello, NinBuzz! How are you guys doing today? My name is Shadow, and welcome back to the new community choice! Last week, we asked you guys what your favorite Wii U game was from 2015. This was a really good year for Wii U owners, so let's go ahead and jump right into the results. Coming in at number 5, we have Kirby and the Rainbow Curse at 2% of the votes. Now, while 2% doesn't usually seem like a lot, there were a whole lot more votes than usual. So even with 2%, that is still quite a lot. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse was a direct sequel to Kirby and the Canvas Curse. Instead of just using a bland black line, you get to draw in rainbow lines. So everything's all pretty and awesome. There's really not an intense story, one because it's a Kirby game, and two because it's not really a story-driven game, but the gameplay is super fun. All of the levels are super cool and creative. There's a whole lot of replay value to this game. There's items that you can collect, and there's challenge modes, although the mechanics do stay the same throughout the entire game, so it will get stale at certain points, but if you press through it, you'll see it's a pretty decent game that you need to go pick up immediately. Speaking of sequel games, let's go ahead and look at number 4, which is Yoshi's Woolly World at 4% of the votes. I wouldn't call this game a direct sequel, but it's kind of a sequel to Yoshi's Epic Yarn. Yoshi and all of his friends are made out of yarn, so with that comes a lot of different yarn mechanics. The game plays a lot like a normal Yoshi game, but it's a lot cuter in a lot of different ways. You wouldn't think yarn would look so adorable, but somehow they managed to make it look even more adorable. In this game, you are trying to get back all of your friends that Kamek has stolen and turned into yarn. But much like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, this game really isn't story-driven. It's mainly about the gameplay, because the gameplay is amazing. You're going through level to level trying to collect yarn from your fallen Yoshis and flowers that will help you get a secret minigame. But in and of itself, that's essentially all Yoshi's Woolly World is. So if that doesn't seem appealing to you, maybe don't get it, but maybe do, because it's super cute and adorable. And moving on from adorable to super action-packed, let's move on to number 3. Moving up to 17% of the votes, we have Xenoblade Chronicles X. Oh my gosh, this game's awesome. That's all I have to say. This game's amazing. If you don't have it, what is wrong with you? Just what? This game takes place in the same universe that Xenoblade Chronicles does, but in this world you are a survivor of the Earth being destroyed, as well as your ship being crashed on the planet Mira. So you and your team are going through the planet, just exploring the surroundings, getting a survey of the land, as well as trying to defeat the enemies of this game who are trying to wipe out humanity. I will say though, this game is not as story-driven as the original was, but it makes up for it with a whole lot of different things. The exploration is so much more advanced. There's so much more to do and so much more to see. There are a ton of different side quests, and then you have affinity missions. So instead of just having heart-to-heart missions, you have affinity missions, which will help you get affinity missions with different characters, and you get a more in-depth look at their story and how they got to where they were as a person. So with that, it's really interesting. There's a whole lot of different customization option with your gear and your skill and your weapons. It's just a masterpiece, and I love it in every way. And I could talk about it all day, but I should probably stop so I can move on to the number 2 and number 1 spot. Alright, so moving on to the top 2 contenders. Coming in at number 2 with 34% of the votes, moving up quite a big chunk, we have Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker is one of the new Super Mario games, but instead of normal Mario games where you have a storyline set out in front of you and certain levels that you have to go through to complete the story and blah blah blah, you actually get to create a Mario game. This is your game. You can create whatever you want, and you can play whichever levels that you want to play. Everything is user created, which is really awesome. Seeing what others can think of in their mind as what a Mario level could be, instead of just having a few different developers make the same levels for years on years, you get a fresh new idea of what Mario looks like. And while some of the levels doesn't feel like Mario, but it is a really nice twist to a Mario game and a really nice breath of fresh air. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the number 1 spot. Just barely coming up on top with 40% of the votes. Of course, we have Splatoon. Splatoon is Nintendo's take on a shooter game, and it is amazing. Instead of your normal kill people, kill this person, you have a turf war, so you're trying to get the other team's turf. But that's not it, there's so much other modes. There's Rainmaker, there's zone captures, capture the tower. There's a whole lot to this game. The customization in this game is crazy. There's so many different weapons that you can choose from, as well as a lot of different gear that has different customization options with it. So it has different main abilities and different sub abilities, so you can change the sub abilities on those gear pieces, and it's just, the customization just blows my mind. You can literally have one inkling that's more stealth related and one inkling that's more attack related. There's a whole lot of different customization options that you can have between characters in this game, which is really awesome. This game definitely deserves the best spot on the 2015 Best Wii U game. But that is it for 2015, guys. Thank you so much for supporting Community Choice for the year and a couple months that I have been doing this, and I cannot wait to see what 2016 has in store for us. So let's go ahead and move on to next year's question. To start off 2016, I'm going to be asking you guys what your favorite Nintendo racing game / series is. So if that, let's say Mario Kart, you can't just choose Mario Kart 64, that's all going to be clumped together in Mario Kart. F-Zero is going to be clumped together. It's going to be series by series unless there's just a singular game in that series. And with that, that is all I have for you guys this week. Like I said before, thank you so much for watching and supporting this show. It's been a real honor to be here to do this for you guys, and hopefully I'll be doing it for quite a while. So make sure you guys subscribe to NinBuzz if you have not already, like this video, check out my stuff, make sure you guys stay beautiful and have an amazing rest of 2015.